We're told forgiveness set us free, but what is forgiving too soon? What is the change that back you to the hurt? Today, with your mindset maven, Miss Charmaine, we're naming the difference between healing and self-betrayal.
Yeah, we back, for real. I'm been here, man. It's Kai. Yeah. Hey, Kai, they ain't ready for that. Yeah. Better than ever.
What up, family? This is Myrnalina, your host of the Built from Broken podcast. This is episode 8, part 2. Forgiveness ain't always freedom. And joining me today is Miss Charmaine, your mindset maven, a certified life coach, speaker, mentor, and visionary creator behind the C.H.A.R.M Effect. After dedicating over 20 years to child welfare, she shifted her focus to helping women and professionals heal, reset, and reclaim their mindset, wellness, confidence, and peace. Charmaine's work embodies courage, healing, aspiration, renewal, and motivation, guiding people from simply surviving to truly living. With her signature authenticity, she blends her earned wisdom with real life lessons, reminding us that transformation isn't just a moment, it's a lifestyle. Welcome, Charmaine.
Hey. Oh my
So,
God, I'm so excited.
other than that brief, introduction, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so first and foremost, if you hear a little twang, a little accent, I am an island girl. So I'm born and raised in the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. Right now, I live in South Florida with my family. I love a good time, good food, laughter,
Yeah,
and just living. Like, that's me.
that's right. So, giving a little feedback, I met Charmaine through Facebook, through a mutual friend, or should I say mentor, Sherman Brown. So
Yeah.
shouts to Sherman Brown and his Aim High movement. So Charmaine, I wanted to do this with you, most importantly because I've watched your videos and I've seen your motivation and I've seen your little transitions from what you show on Facebook, of course, because I don't know you personally, but it's been inspirational to me. So I felt that this would be a perfect episode so I can get a different perspective. So we are going to talk about forgiveness and if forgiveness is self-sabotage. If there's a difference for me on forgiveness and accountability. I feel that in all aspects of life, everything doesn't need to be forgiven. Although that's not how I grew up. Do you have that same outlook or is it different for you?
No, first of all, I love the topic. And secondly, thank you for even like considering me, right? When I saw episode 1 and when you told me about what we're gonna discuss, I was kind of like in awe, like, oh my God, this is heavy, right? And I had to be real. And no, I don't think forgiveness and accountability all is the same. I don't think everybody needs to be forgiven. And I think a lot of people put forgiveness into this one big lump. And I grew up thinking forgiveness was one way. Being from the Caribbean in a heavy religious background, we were told to forgive no matter what. I don't think that way no more. I don't.
When you go through so much in life, it's like, wait a minute, hold on. But I mainly started this because I wanted to look at myself, like break myself down on the inside, because there's no possible way I could move around into different states, cities, meet different people, and all these people are conspiring against me. Like there has to be a common denominator here. And when you look in the mirror, you realize it's you.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason why I began this journey. So, on the forgiveness aspect, on redefining forgiveness. Now, we touched on it a little bit because of how we grew up to how we see things now. The way I redefine forgiveness is, of course, looking at the opposite side, which is accountability.
Mm.
Do I feel that what I've done to people should be forgiven? Short answer is like yes and no, only because the things that I've done, for instance, I've dated a friend's ex partner, and although they
Mhm.
weren't together at the time, it was still a violation.
Yeah, of that
And
loyalty.
I never understood it until it happened to me.
Mm.
And now I'm like, oh, I'm all upset. And I'm like, hold up, like, wait a minute. Now I see it. Now I know why this happened. And it didn't matter how you sliced the pie. I was still wrong in the whole scenario. So
Right.
it took so long for me to see it. Why should I be forgiven now? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Looking at the outside in, like, hold up, like, you betrayed me. Not only did you betray me, you was all defensive about it. You didn't look at it from my aspect. So it's a lot that goes into it, which is
Yeah.
why I have a love-hate relationship with forgiveness, because not everything needs to be forgiven.
Right. No, and I commend that, right? And I like how you merge in the forgiveness with the accountability part. I want to start by saying we hear that unforgiveness is like drinking poison and hoping somebody else dies, right? That's what they
Yeah.
say unforgiveness is like. So when I think of forgiveness, it's not so much for them, it's to release the poison for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hold the forgiveness as to anything that they have to do or they did to earn it. It's a release for me. But I think forgiveness without boundaries is then re-victimizing myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my aspect on it, because people don't have to take accountability for their actions for me to release the poison that they've caused. So my forgiveness is the release to myself, nothing to do with them.
Mm. That hit me like ding. So when does forgiveness become self-betrayal?
Hmm. When does forgiveness become self-betrayal? When you take responsibility for their actions. Because when I thought about this subject, I was like, who do I need to forgive or have I forgiven? And the biggest people that came up was the elders or the older people, adults in my life, and then myself. Why, when it comes to self-betrayal, I can't take accountability for their actions. They were older, they were wiser, they should have known better, right? But they didn't. And I had to release that because of how it was affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I took ownership on their behavior and said, because I did something that caused them to do this to me, and then I still forgive them with that attachment to me, then I'm definitely betraying myself. I can't attach their behavior to me. I can't attach their accountability to my forgiveness. Then it becomes self-betrayal, because then I will always feel guilty for their actions. And then I'm taking another poison because I'm
Right.
feeling guilty for something that they did.
Right. And that makes sense. Like for me, it's kind of like iffy, because if you think, like you say, the elders, it's a different time. So there was a lot of things that were accepted back then that's not accepted back then, that's accepted now. And it's like, for me, with me is my whole sexuality thing. you know, when I was younger, my dad flat out was like, get out my life. We're
Mhm.
not doing this, whatever, whatever. But then it's like, he apologized, but still had his moments. And it's like, I forgave that, because what do my parents know? Me growing up knowing now that I'm almost 40 years old and I'm still learning, how can I put the expectation of them knowing or having the answers when I still don't have it for myself?
Right. But the
Even though I don't have
self-sabotage,
kids.
yeah, but the self-sabotage will come from you feeling guilty on being the way you are and
Because of them.
holding space for them to treat you that way.
Right.
Because
Uh-uh.
if they know now and they still treat you that way, then it's all on them.
Oh, yeah. And no, they don't. Thank God. They Thank God. That also falls into accountability, closure, and consequences. Because there's people that think that forgiveness should set them free.
Mm.
And I feel like when they don't hold themselves accountable, they're expecting for someone else's accountability to heal them. And I feel like a lot of close family members right now are going through that same sentiment. And when they don't get the answers that they want, they start to go in their heads and they start to
Yeah.
project what they're feeling into somebody else. And it's like, that's not even what's going on.
Right. Right. Because as a life coach, I tell people you have to be okay with the apologies you will never get. Some people aren't here anymore to
Mm-hmm.
apologize to you. Some people are not at the level to understand what they did to you. So you have to forgive them in their absence of being able to apologize to you. And I go through a visualization of you got to visualize them saying I'm sorry, or you got to visualize them saying I didn't know, or it was my fault, right? And
Mm-hmm.
heal that little girl or that little boy inside of you and move on in your imagination, or write a letter or something and then burn it up. Like you have to
Mm-hmm.
retrain your mind in your imagination in order
Yep.
for you to move on in real life. Because for some people, it's not even the apology, it's the validation, it's the, okay, you see me, right? And for some people, they can never get that apology. So what are they gonna hold on to, that
Mm-hmm.
grief or that pain forever? You can't.
And some people do that. Some people would rather just walk away than to accept that this is not going to change. Like you, like for going back to the whole elder thing. Like my mom is 70. How do you expect a 70-year-old or 80-year-old to change who they are? Like it's impossible. Like you
Mm,
have to accept at this point what it is,
yeah,
or you can just distance yourself. But you have to
yeah.
make sure you heal because then it makes no sense.
Right, because then every time that person name comes up, you're annoyed. Every time
That's why
a
I don't
conversation.
believe in out of sight, out of mind. Like I feel
No,
like that's toxic.
yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Like I feel like just because you don't physically see them, that don't mean they're not with you. They're with you in your thoughts. You're trying to avoid them, is you bringing them back up. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you not saying out of sight, out of mind. No, because sight is not vision, right? Sight is here, is mental, right? So it's like, nah, you gotta let them go, but you still have your boundaries. You don't
Yep.
have those boundaries, then, and the boundaries, a lot of times people think boundaries is for the other person. Boundaries
Mm-hmm.
is for you. Boundaries says you can still do what you gonna do, but when you do it, I'm gonna do this. That's the boundary. Not don't do that anymore. No, the boundary is when you do that, or if you do that, this is how I'm gonna respond.
Yep. And that ties into another episode I had, boundaries or burnout, because I've noticed that not having boundaries leads to burnout. And it leads
Yes.
to people thinking that they're always going to get from you, even when you have an empty cup. And
Mm,
it's crazy. It's really like when you don't have a perspective of understanding what boundaries entail, then you really end up like giving yourself like having nothing left, and you keep giving. And
yeah.
I really was like that. Like I really was like that. But I thank God I'm not like that no more. But going into more in depth on Charmaine and what is your perspective, I have some questions to ask you.
Okay.
So it's going to be 7 questions, and you can answer them however you want. Here is the first question. Have you ever forgiven someone and later realized it cost you your peace or kept you stuck in the same cycle?
Plenty of times. Plenty of times. Because you think forgiving them is going to change the situation. You think forgiving them, like you said before, is like we call it grace. Give that person grace. Turn the other cheek. When they do this, you do that, right? But it doesn't help if they don't understand. one. It doesn't help if you're doing it for them to understand, two. And it doesn't help if you still attached to what pain they caused you. So I've forgiven people and didn't realize my peace was at jeopardy because I was still waiting for that apology. I was still waiting for the I'm sorry. I was still waiting for the change behavior. So then I was like, okay, you already forgive, so why you feel that way? Or you forgive and you still stayed. Why are you upset? Why are you mad? So
Mm-hmm.
I've learned through the years that forgiveness without the boundaries will steal your peace and your joy. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm
Yep.
not I still forgive, but with a caveat. Like it's not about them, it's about me. If I'm feeling like me holding on to this is stealing my joy and my peace, I need to release it. I need to
Yep.
release that energy. And if that includes releasing you, then so be
So
it.
be it. That's right. What's the difference to you between finding peace and giving forgiveness? Are they the same or are they completely separate?
I think they're separate. Like they're twins, right? And I say twins because I have twin girls. They're the sisters that born on the same day. People think they're the same, but they're totally different people. Forgiveness is for other people to release other people. Peace
Mm-hmm.
is to keep for yourself. I can't forgive somebody, don't want to deal with them, and still allow them to bother or disrupt my peace because I don't want to set that boundary. So finding peace and giving forgiveness is for them. The hold they have on me. Peace is for me. The strength I need, the hold I need to have for myself.
Yep. When someone hurts you and feels no remorse, do you think forgiveness becomes an excuse for them or a release for you?
I think it depends, right? You gotta wage each. You gotta wage. I already forgot it. It doesn't bother me. It's gone, right? It's gone.
Non-existent. Yep.
It doesn't require the forgiveness. The forgiveness comes when it bothers me so much that is
Yep.
disrupting my peace, right?
Yep.
Like it's got me so like, ooh, just the name, a familiar smell, your thought, just the ooh, then I know, okay, it's time to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't care about you or I don't feel like you have the capacity to even get what you did to me, I don't think it's needed.
Right. That's for sure. Have you ever felt pressured by family, religion, or society to forgive when you truly didn't want to? And how did that impact your healing?
Mm. Well, you you heard me say I'm from the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
and then the religious side. Those two combinations, that's tough because as a child, you had to be seen and not heard, stay in a child's place, right? Religion taught you to just do what you're supposed to do, don't question. And yes, I found myself because of the way I grew up, because of culture, because of religion, I forgave people or gave people chances and gave grace to people who didn't deserve it, right? One, because remember I just said about it causing a stir within me. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
didn't cause a stir within me, but I was forced to give that person grace.
Yep.
Why? Because they were older, because they were elder, because that's what the religion says. And I'm like, nah,
No.
I needed boundaries. I needed to separate myself. I didn't need to be in that environment,
Yep.
right? So then of course it felt like it's a violation to me. It's you interrupting my healing because then now I'm like, okay, I forgive you. Or, okay, now I'm forced for you to be around me, and then you're disrupting my nervous system. You're causing me to go into some feeling that I don't like, but I have to because you're family. I have to because we go to the same church. I have to because that's what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
And it's crazy because my grandmother, before she passed away, she was very religious. I think she
Mm.
was Pentecostal, and she was not with that same sex stuff. Like, but when I was in her presence, she never made me feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
Like, she would see my girlfriend and be like, oh, show her love or whatever. But then to like my brothers and sisters, she'll be like, yo, tell Myrna, like, she got to chill with
Yeah.
that because God is not going to accept her in heaven. But that's what I loved about her. Like, you never stopped believing in your belief, and you never made me feel uncomfortable because of it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't feel like I was ever forced into something because of the elders or my society, because in some form or fashion I really didn't care. Like,
Mm.
I was not going to
Yeah.
change me, because I learned early on that my happiness was like the only thing I had to
Yeah.
really be sacred for. Because I've always had this mindset of my legacy ends with me. I don't have
Mm.
children. I've been through too much in my life to bring a child into this world to go through what I went through, and for
Yeah.
me not to be here to protect them. So I've always been like, I'm not having kids. Like, that's just not happening. Like, I will be that cool aunt. I have a whole bunch of nieces and nephews, but forgive me for not giving you children, because it's not gonna happen. That's just how
Right.
I've always thought. So like, it for me, that question is like, I never felt pressured by anything,
Mm.
but it did take from me in some kind of way, because I always let it slide and I never said anything. But now, as an older person, it's like, no, like, I hold the keys to who enters my life. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't benefit me, even if you're not a bad person, you don't need to be in my life. Like, period.
Exactly. Exactly. And for me, like the turning point, when I turned 40, I was like, nah, mm-mm, nope, not doing it. Don't want to, don't care.
Right.
Shrug. It was like this something. I don't know what happened, right? Like you already there, right? So once you get to 40, it'll probably be like extra for you. But once I turned 40, it was like a nah. I'm not apologizing. I'm not going. I'm not doing. I'm not calling. I'm not texting. I'm not saying yes. My no is my no. My yes is my yes. Who's in my circle is in my circle. And when it's done, it's done.
Yep. My non-negotiables.
Yes. My non-negotiables with anybody, right? Like if
Yep.
I can hold myself to that standard of protecting me and doing what's best for me. Like I hold myself to that standard. I gotta hold you, anybody, who you are, family, friends, kids, spouse, like it's the same. It goes for
Yep.
everybody.
Yep, and that's the same thing I was saying. Like, if I'm going to believe something, I have to believe it across the board. I can't pick and choose who it's acceptable to cross it. Like, no, 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 no. We, like, everybody gets treated the same. Like,
Yeah,
we're not doing that, because that's when people think that they have the ability to shake your foundation and, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna be forgiven. No, no, we're not. No, you're not.
right.
What's one moment in your life where forgiveness actually held you back instead of setting you free?
Mm. Oh, uh, that that's a tough one, right? Um, like right now, I'm in the process of writing a book about being a daddyless daughter.
Oh, wow.
And I forgave some people that I shouldn't have to have forgiven them because I did nothing to deserve that, right? Like I did nothing to cause that situation. And me forgiving them kind of gave them a pass to not, like you we talked about, holding themselves accountable, not saying I'm sorry, not realizing what their ish did to me.
Hmm.
So when I was so quick to forgive without processing what happened, it bothered me. It bothered me. And I was like, nah, no, it's
And,
bothering me.
and it's like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you shake your own foundation trying to be I guess you could say passive by forgiving and bringing these people, like trying to be the peacekeeper when all along the peace that you should be keeping is within your
So
core. Yeah, that's crazy. I thought I was the only one that thought this. I'm glad that we having this conversation because I'm like, yo, there's no way. Like I know how
yeah,
we grew up, and even though I'm not a religious person, I'm very spiritual. Like I believe
yeah,
in God and I believe all that, but I don't believe in the Bible because it's
yeah,
written by man, and I don't believe in Jesus because
yeah.
like we haven't found him yet. We haven't found
Listen,
him yet.
you heard me talk about turning. When I turned 40, I left the church. I left the church and I abandoned the religion that I grew up all my life knowing. I am with you. I'm now on this spiritual journey. I
Mm-hmm.
now feel like I do believe in God, but not in the way that I was told God.
Mm-hmm.
I am God. I am a conscious representation of God. And just to throw this out, if you read or listen to any audio from Neville Goddard, those teachings will tell you that the Bible is a psychological interpretation of life. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't to be taken literal. And when I start looking at the Bible from that perspective, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this is where somebody can see something and I see the same thing and we have a different perspective. So I'm with you. I'm no longer in
Yeah.
church. I no longer consider myself Christian. I don't read the Bible, but I have so much peace in who I am and God and people that I'm just like, wow, I wish I had this before. And that's where the forgiving of myself is because I didn't have the knowledge. You don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to me forgiving other people, I had to forgive myself.
Yep.
And I feel like it was too late. Like I should have been do this. I should have been do that. Like you should have known. But no, you don't
Then
know what you don't know.
yep.
And knowing something and not doing it is the same as not knowing.
Yep. Yep. That's
So
definitely the
I'm
truth.
with you on that.
Do you think forgiveness without accountability cheapens the meaning of forgiveness?
Yes and no. If it's somebody that you want to continue building and having life with, yes, it does. Because it's just a repeat cycle, right? Where you forgive them because it's disturbing your peace. They hold accountability to their actions and you set the boundary, right? That's the happy circle there. But the moment they don't hold themselves accountable and you don't set any boundaries, then you in a new loop because they're going to do something else that's going to bother you.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else that's going to bother you.
Yep.
And then the cycle begins. So if those two factors, is it somebody that has a capacity to understand? And is it somebody that you even care to continue building with? If those things are no, accountability and boundary is out the way. But if it's a yes for those two answers, then absolutely you need the accountability and the boundaries. Because
Yep.
if they don't hold themselves accountable, you got to set your boundary. Why would I keep putting myself in this same position to get hurt again and
And
again and
again.
again?
Yep. Amen. And here is your final question. If
Mm,
freedom isn't always found, where do you believe it is found?
freedom is in truth, man. Freedom is in truth. Like your truth. What's my truth? My truth is I operate from authenticity. The
Mm-hmm.
Charmaine you met online is the same Charmaine I am in person. The Charmaine you meet, somebody else meet, everybody else meet is the same me.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown. I've grown in my wisdom. I've grown in the way I think, I speak, I act, but I'm the same person. The truth is in your authenticity. Who are you to the core? And can you stand on that no matter what situation, no matter who you talk to, no matter what life throws you? When you can stand in your own authenticity, that's freedom. That's truth. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about none of that stuff, right? So if it hurts you, it's okay. That's the truth. It hurts.
And it hurts for the moment, but it
Mhm.
heals in the long run.
Because you got
Yep.
to grieve. You have to grieve the life that you thought you was going to have. You have to
Yep.
grieve the disappointment. You have to grieve the expectation that wasn't met. That's truth. That's freedom.
Yep.
A lot of people don't
Amen.
want to face the truth. They don't want to face the hurt. They don't want to face the pain.
They
So
let
you,
fear overcome what they could. They let fear overcome their freedom.
mm-hmm.
And that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
scary because a lot of people really cut themselves back and don't realize it.
yeah. Because then where I say freedom is in the truth, if you voice that I'm fearful because I don't want to get hurt again, that's the truth. And there's freedom in that.
Yep.
Because somebody who care about you will say, I I hear you, I understand you, and I'll do my best not to repeat this behavior.
Yep. Here is something I want you to give a shout out to, your charm effect.
Mm.
I want you to give my audience something to take with them that'll drive them to your charm effect.
Right. So, of course, you know my name is Charmaine. So, CHARM is an acronym. I love acronyms. Like when you brought that CHARM, um, um, CHARM starts for change. It stands for change happens after renewed mindset. Change happens after renewed mindset. Nothing changes until you change the thoughts that you have in your mind. And the method that I use is a CHARM method. Anything that happens in life, there's 5 things that I think you need to pay attention to. 5 things that you need to go through. First, you need to have courage. Courage to face that thing. Courage to identify that thing. Courage to say what that thing is. Be truthful with yourself. The H is healing. Then you have to heal. Heal from what they did to you. Heal from what you did to yourself. Heal from what you didn't know, right? Forgive them. Forgive yourself. Then you have to have aspirations. Now I know what happened before, but what do I want my life to look like? What's the future me gonna look like? The R is renewal. What do I have to do every single day in order for me to keep on the path to get that life and that vision that I want? And then the
Mm-hmm.
M is the motivation. Who's in my circle? Who's going to keep me going? Who's going to help me? What books I need to read, podcasts, what videos I need to watch, who I need to connect to, what people I need to have conversations with like you that's going to keep me going. That's the CHARM method. And that can apply to anything in your whole life.
Yep.
Courage, healing, aspiration, renewal, motivation.
Charm
CHARM.
effect.
Yes.
For the followers here of the Built from Broken podcast, our strength tool today is going to be the charm check. So for the strength tool, the C is going to be choice. Do I actually have a choice here? The H is going to be harm. What harm continues if I forgive right now? A, accountability. What would accountability look like in actions? R, resources. Who or what supports my boundaries? And M, the micro step. What is in it in my next 24 hours? Also, the final journal prompt for this episode, part 2, is knowing that you have the charm effect here, knowing that you have the Built from Broken podcast. How do you view forgiveness now that you can see that accountability is on the other side of forgiveness? I want to thank Miss Charmaine for giving us this insight and her perspective on forgiveness ain't always freedom. I look forward to having future episodes with you. I love this episode. I hope that my followers can go to the Charm Effect and check it out. Will you do it every Monday?
Yeah, I do the first Monday of the month, but continuously is
The
always mindset, wellness, confidence.
There you go. You have a lot to look forward to. You have a lot of people to connect with that are built on positivity, on change within yourself, your happiness, and your peace. Thank you, Charmaine, for taking the time out of your day to join us here at the Built from Broken podcast. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you. I can't thank you enough. I enjoyed my time, and have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you.